All right, so you should all be able to see me in there. Red, orange, and yellow guy. So, oh, this is really going to work out in my favor. That means I'm the hottest thing inside the frame right now. Sorry, Sean. I just realized we had mostly ladies tonight. Bridal parties, that's slays, just so you guys know. Like somebody's on the ground. So we're looking for those cold spots. So the cold spots are going to be blue and black. So the blue and black areas, we're always going to have blue and black, especially when we're trying to keep one of us in view, which is what we're going to be trying to do. But those blue and black is going to be glass, an aluminum can on the ground, maybe even a sign, so forth and so on. You guys are seeing the point. I want those areas to either take shape or to start moving on their own. When I say take shape, I want a head, shoulders, moving arms and legs. That's what we're looking for. That's what we've caught with this camera in the past. I always love to give you the stats of what these pieces of equipment actually do. I capture 4 to 5 pieces per year that I would put my stamp of approval on, not 4 to 5 pieces per episode. I am not a TV show host. I am not Sam and Colby. So again, I just like to point that out. We're also looking for temperature drops. There's a blue dot bouncing around the screen. You might not be able to see it from the angle that you're staring at it at, but it is basically moving around trying to find the coldest spot. I'm looking for 15 plus degree temperature differences. It is 83 degrees out here for us ambient. I'm looking for 68 degrees and colder to come out of that blue dot in the event that we don't have a full blue person walking towards us. If I see a 68 degree or colder moving across as an anomaly, obviously you're going to get a frame by frame play. You guys will see that as we kind of move along. So Sean, this will be the first camera that you're using. We're going to swap out about halfway through the night, and I'll explain why once we get to that point. You're going to handle this guy right-handed. I'm going to stop. So just try not to film it. And yeah, we want to get you like 1 or 2 more steps in because that's the only entrance for cars.
Oh, yeah.
Communication devices, all 3 of you. This is where I start withholding information on purpose. So I will not be giving you questions here like what color was George Washington's white horse? Kind of like what we did over there at the Big Red Barn. I'm going to withhold information so you actually get the answers from your spirit boxes. Let's tell you why you're in the middle of an empty parking lot. Congrats, by the way, you made it. I told you I'd take you to weird spots. This place used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. What do you got going on over there? It's turning red.
Yeah, it was just blowing up red. It was just like really.
It's part of the aesthetics. It growls too. I just turned the volume down.
Oh, cool.
What was the word that popped up? I'm just curious.
Rhythm.
So, Eliza and Charles Pinckney Mansion once stood here, right in front of this space. So it faced East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant and came all the way across. And then we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. That's the layout of the land. So who the hell were these people? Charles and Eliza. Oh, I should give you the layout of how we're going to be doing this. So I'm going to give you the history, and then we're going to spread out. We're going to stay away from that one truck that's in here, and anybody that walks through here, obviously. I'll do a few round robins with everybody to see what's going on with all of your gear. I'll take a lot of notes, and then I'll bring us back to reveal all of the answers and to show you like what we found and how it ties together if we have anything at all. So just kind of keep that in mind. Every space we go to, I'll give you the layout of what we're going to be doing because every location is completely different. So who the heck were Charles and Eliza Pinckney? They had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Chucks, in case you guys weren't paying attention. So the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. It's a big deal for us. So I hate politics. We're going to move on. But I always point out the point of 3 Chucks because now you know why we look for secondary clues. So in the event that Lily actually hears the name Charles coming out of hers, I need to know which one it is so I know how to address them. Does that make sense? Like, these are real people. So anyway, let's move on to Eliza. Eliza marries Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say it slowly because if you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, don't expect numbers from the 1700s when young ladies got married at the ages of 12 and 14. Think of today's standards because the husband was over double her age when they married. It was kind of a creepy age gap then, it's a creepy age gap now. Just kind of put that, I don't think I have a couple in front of me, I don't have a couple at all in front of me. That's that age gap in between. I actually had to put my foot in my mouth a few times. But anyway, it's happened. Just a couple of nights ago, actually, like I had to stop myself from saying the word creepy when I told him that. I was like, oh yeah, I just never knew. But anyway.
Oh, you're not mom.
Yeah.
It was one of them kind of situations. Opposite genders, but yeah, you're on the right track. But anyway, so she married him because her father was over in England and he thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring all of his children home one last time. Eliza didn't believe he was dying. Instead, she stayed put right here, got married. 1744, everybody. You do not get married in that year to earn a green card because we are not a country yet. She did marry him out of love. This is a true love story, if nothing else. There's nothing horrific about this location. I just like to point that out. It is a place of respect. Now, moving forward, she was correct. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. That's a plant that makes blue dye, makes your blue jeans blue, and nobody's wearing it tonight. Super awesome. Because that's how we use it. When Eliza got her seeds, no idea what to do with it. She had to learn from her servants how to keep it going. Not always hot here. Then she learned how to make the dye, moved it to a cash crop, got a hold of Dad, and said that the rice plantations were going downhill. They were going to make a killing with the indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. Something absolutely unheard of. Now, that's the boring business stuff. These guys are out of school. They probably didn't want a history lesson right now. So let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are here, right? Exactly. So with all the communication devices, I'm going to give you guys focus questions. You can say these things out loud or just focus on them. No right or wrong way to do it. I'm here every night. It's not like she doesn't know what you guys are about to ask. If you go rogue and you ask something on your own, 3 little rules. No yes, no questions. We kind of proved that already. What was the other 2? Don't ask about the children. Be respectful. It's the only thing I ask in this location. I will kind of reveal like why about the children before we leave the space. So with yours, it gives us 1 to 2 syllables at a time. So you're going to be staying focused on the mansion. It's not here.
Yeah.
What happened to it? If you get the what, we'll often get 2 or 3 numbers of the exact date of when that occurred. So I want you to also keep in mind, I have a camera, my voice recorder, 2 spirit boxes, and a word generator. If you're asking a question, your answer can go to any of those other devices. You're basically my safety director. We're going to talk about that as we kind of get higher numbers. Have you had anything yet, by the way? You've been like 6.5. Like you've been laser focused. Like you've got something over there. So yeah, you're all about the mansion on your piece. You can go after the marriage questions too. Like she's pretty open about that. You're going to be focused on Eliza's death. 4 major answers we get answers to. Age of death, how she died, where she's buried, which president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So age, how, where, president. Easy ones for you. You're almost like a catch-all. Hopefully you're going to get the answers of whatever they're not getting. But you're also going to be looking for Eliza's maiden name. The reason why. She's the 2nd wife named Eliza from Charles back-to-back. First wife died in January of 1744, and then 5 months later he married the one I just told you about. So, kind of a jerk move if you really think about it. Ironically, both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. Figure out which one we have. So again, you kind of know the rules of what else to ask, but you can also be the catch-all for other things. It just depends on whatever Eliza's able to find through our radio sweeps of what's going on here, because all 3 devices use radio sweeps. So sometimes she will just capture something, and it's not always going to be a direct answer. Keep that in mind. Anything higher than a 6.5 at this point? Perfect. So average for this location, just so you, of course I had to say something. Average, just so you know, Allie, is going to be an 18 to a 22. That's what I expect out of this space 5 out of 7 nights a week. However, just the other night, I think our highest at this spot was only like a 7 or an 8. So you had a 6.5 and a 6.7. All right. Sean, you're already recording, I take it? All right, perfect. Scram. Get to work, everybody. I'll be with everybody in just a minute. Oh yeah, get yourself unmuted. Allie, you might want to stick to her. I love when we don't have any cars or just 1 car in here.
Yeah.
What'd you get? Nice. That's your new base.
Hey Nick, is my thing on?
It takes a second to warm up.
nephew. Charles' husband. Am I here with Eliza or one of the Charles? Or Chuck?
No.
Okay.
77 was the lowest temperature, something on the floor.
Gotcha. Girls are really good at listening to that.
Yeah, they like this.
I told them that's not an easy one to use, for sure.
Yeah.
I think I need to swap out my pen. This one's dead. I'm gonna give them like another minute, and then we'll probably wrap this one up.
Okay.
See what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know why one spot would be like 77. That's kind of odd.
The ground in this location is weird because we do have gravel. We have a lot of different material in
Yeah, I thought maybe like water, but I don't see any, or oil.
Was it in here?
Oh, somewhere. I think it was right around in here.
There's a can right here.
Okay, maybe that's what it is.
It's smashed down pretty damn
Yeah,
good.
it's right. Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's the only thing that's below 80.
We've caught like people walking towards us in here.
Oh yeah.
Nate, Jacob, and Grayson are your names.
Number what?
The way they spell it in there, it could be the last one.
Number what?
Probably the last one.
Freedom?
They used to have it
Remembering
here.
freedom? Ma'am? Are you remembering freedom?
stop talking. You guys see the point. We're looking for an 8 or above at this location. We do have lamp posts in here. It's going to give off a little bit more electricity than the open space like the other space. So 8 or above is where we're at. What are the last couple of terms we have?
Landon, taxpayer, right, and child.
What kind of right?
Like right.
Alright, so every ghost tour comes down here. Sean, you've already mentioned, like, you've seen a couple of dozen, like, ghost tours when you guys were searching for things. There's 338, if you want an exact number. And unfortunately, I'm included in that ghost tour list because I'm part of tourism. Every one of them comes down here. Here's why. This guy's story has been told for decades at this point. I was going to take this out of my routes because you guys already know I don't like going to the typical ghost places that the other tours go to, but this guy follows me around. He will show up again, obviously for the bleed over for the next stop, but he'll be nearby our last 2 locations, which are very close to each other as well, because the place he lived in is close by. So again, he loves to show up wherever I like to go. Here's how the story goes. You guys may have noticed that the name of the alley as you walked in here was called Philadelphia Alley. It's named that because after dueling became stupid and illegal, which it already was, they had to rename it after a city that helped us out of one of our many, many fires. So Philadelphia helped us with cash, so we named it after them. But this used to be called Duelers Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. Like I said, we all tell the same damn story. I'm going to say the same story, but I'm going to give you a few extra details based on what you guys are doing. You're not on Campfire Marshmallow Ghost Tour, you're ghost hunting. Here's how it goes. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. In the event that the song Brown Eyed Girl shows up while we're down here, it's not coincidence. We get it all the time, it's part of his name. But anyway, Dr. Ladd moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a lot of money from her dead parents, and she has an attorney helping her out with the cash flow. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. So Dr. Ladd decides he's going to move to Charleston to start his medical practice down here. On his way into town, he had a coachman. The coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It's like having a really bad Uber driver in today's world. Anyway, somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen between the coachman and the newcomer, and that person's name was Ralph Isaacs. I say his name slowly because he has the same initials as where the doctor came from, Rhode Island. I was getting RI on regular spirit boxes. I bought a new device. You guys have probably seen it on YouTube. Sam Colby used it. It's called the Envoy, but it's basically a digital Ouija board. So it actually basically gives you letters based off of EMF, like what Allie's using. So it's a very unique device. It's not very productive all the time. It just depends on the night and the dates of what's going on with that night. Anyway, so we've got the RI on the Ouija board device probably about 6 or 7 times in the past year that I've had it. So normally, relative to Ralph, not so much Rhode Island. Moving forward. Again, this is how I do my research. I just go spend a few $100s to find out one little fun fact. Now, it's crazy. But back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy, the coachman. He is going to try to kill you. Come with me to 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from these friends of mine. You'll be safe and good to go. The doc took him up on the offer, and the 2 gentlemen became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's money. He's making his own. She gets wind of this. She's moving down so they can be married. Dr. Ladd then became known as the Whistling Doctor because he whistled all the time. That's what men did when they were happy in the 1700s, apparently. And this is another reason why I was going to take this out of my route because I hate cliches. Every haunted city you will ever visit is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. This one just happens to be a doctor. So why are we in Duelers Alley? Ralph and Dr. Ladd go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. The hierarchy of Charleston, he gets better seats. It's like going to movies together, you can't sit next to each other kind of mentality. But on their way home, they're going to see Richard III, and they're arguing over the new actress they just saw. Doc thought she was great. Ralph didn't. Then they start arguing, and then Ralph is insulting the doctor's fiance back home in Rhode Island. It got really ugly. They go their separate ways. We're gonna let this actor whistling down there. You guys hear that? They all do. Yep, they're all gonna do it. What's that say?
Administrator.
I was just like, it's just like, oh, this was by the way, I forgot to give you guys the warning that you're the weirdos out here tonight. They're all gonna stare at you because you all have blinky lights. Like that's just. It wasn't a warning; it was a joke.
We're weirdos anyway.
Yeah, exactly. You're with the weirdo wearing the vest in 95-degree weather.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
So where was I? They went their separate ways. Ralph goes to his friends at the newspaper, places an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston. He thinks of the doctor, you're a disgrace to society. You're a jerk. Yeah, kind of a jerk move. Yeah, exactly. More like a really bad Instagram post with somebody else's picture and a big X over it. Yeah, pretty much. Doc saw the ad, but he rebutted with, let's go to Jeweler's Alley. Somebody's going to die. This whole argument started over an actress, everybody. Pretty dumb and stupid. Anyway, the two gents came down here, back to back. They took their 10 paces away from each other. They turned. Doc points his gun in the air and shoots. It's one shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage to show up. Ralph has his one bullet. He puts it in the kneecap of Dr. Ladd. Dr. Ladd didn't die, but Ralph proved his point. He's still pissed off. Doc fell to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street. He died 10 days later on November 2nd of 1786 after refusing medical treatment. Two things about that last statement. It's 1786. Gunshot wounds back then, a lot different than what they are now. That brace feels amazing. Coming in through the gate, that's my standard. The other thing is, he is a doctor. He probably just said he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself, but he failed because he died. So, he was 22 years old. I'm just going to point that out too. I don't normally tell you guys that. I wait for the number 22 to show up, but I just like to point out how dumb this actually was. So, this whole thing is that every ghost tour talk show, listen for the whistles. We have a camera running, plus my voice recorder. We're going to get a disembodied whistle, more than likely going to be on one of the two different devices. However, you're going to try this on your own. Oh, by the way, on spirit boxes, especially the recordings, I don't look for things. So I listen to minute 1, 5, 10, 15, 20. You see the pattern. If something shows up, it shows up. I can't tell you how many times the whistling part of a song has shown up, and then the word doctor immediately after during the time frame that we're in this space. I've been coming here for almost 5 years. Damn near. So again, dozens upon dozens of times. Try this on your own with voice recorders from your phone by walking all the way through. Just remember, every local knows the story. You just seen what the tourists just did. They all whistled when they went by. Every time somebody walks by Cumberland or Queen Street, we all throw a whistle down this alley. So I include it. Yeah, I'm one of them. So here's how I got thrown out of here, because I can't take it all the way through. The alley didn't go all the way through the way we came in. There used to be a wall halfway between this gate and Cumberland Street, because this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. This was called Cow Alley before it was Jeweler's Alley. So cows, goats, and chickens all through here. Why am I telling you this? They started down there, worked their way slowly to where we are now. The bricks down at the other side are older than what we're standing on. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. Full handprint from a slave child down on one of those bricks, fingerprint swipes and others. I used to take my groups all the way through for a history lesson. There's nothing paranormal about that brick. You guys already know how I feel about cemeteries? That kid's not staring at that brick in the afterlife. There's no way. November 26th of 2020, took my entire group down there. Told them, I'm just going to point it out. I've already told you what it is, so we're just going to keep moving. Take pictures if you want, but be quick and move swiftly. They didn't listen. All 10 people stopped, huddled around that damn brick, waiting for something to happen with all the gear. We're standing outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I didn't realize we were out of bounds. I was just trying to be respectful and shoo them along. Well, the new owner of that mansion came out, screaming. My daughter thought it was great. It was probably around your age at the time, because her father was getting yelled at. She was all about it. She thought it was hysterical. We moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on holidays, especially Thanksgiving, because I worked in upper management for Walmart. You all fight over chows on Thanksgiving, you scarred me for life. I'm not doing Thanksgiving ever again. The next day was the 28th. I called my partner that I had, and I told him what happened. He laughed at me just like my daughter did and said, dude, you're only allowed to go down halfway. It's residential past that. Reroute your group. So I was like, damn, I gotta see what happens. I told my group that night was, I don't get into pirates, which that's the story I would normally tell you, but I'm gonna kick that in there too. I get into vampires. So I don't normally put it out there like that, but that's exactly what it is. But at any rate, so I was like, we'll just see what happens. I'm not into pirates. Let's just go see what we get. So I took them up around the corner, but before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be investigating, the female pirate, Anne Bonny. I was kind of like, okay, maybe we'll get something. Around the corner, I told them I knew. Somebody else heard the number 300. I don't know what that means. I wrote it down. We were there November 28th of 2020. First time I'd ever been there with a full group. And Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. The exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. I normally get the jaw drops and like, yeah, that's badass, dude. No, I was pissed. I have a master's degree in creative writing. Everything I do, especially research for paranormal anything, has to be facts and data. Pirate stories come from pirate lore. That's what makes them so romantic for us today. Those stories were written 100 years after the golden age of piracy. That's a long time. So anytime somebody found something over there, I had to read a shit ton of books to be able to verify what the hell was going on. I've read more books on pirates, documentaries, video games, you name it. If it dealt with pirates, I'm all about it now. However, about 8 weeks ago, 2 months, I got kicked out of that location for gauging it to see if tourists can actually go through there, even though I'm telling a totally different story than what everybody else is doing because we're actually investigating a real person. So, what's going to happen when we get up around the corner? When we leave, as soon as we start walking, you can unmute, definitely start listening in. When we get over there, have you seen anything weird on the camera, by the way? I love shots of this alley through the thermal. They're gorgeous, just so you guys know. Definitely, have you seen anything about 8? No. Okay. Yeah, it's a rarity to see any of those things. We did get like a 23, 22 a couple nights ago, and that was like, holy cow. But when we go around the corner, I'm going to take his camera, I'm going to give him a new one, and I'm going to show you guys what we're going to be looking for. We're going to be dealing with an apparition, so hopefully we're going to get things from Dr. Ladd over there, because we're literally going to be right over there by those bushes. Like we're just going to flip sides. So hopefully you can get stuff from Dr. Ladd. What are our words, the last 4 or 5?
Unprecedented outlet work and his.
It's definitely listening to the radio because it says unprecedented on here. And with everything going on today in the news, it's definitely all unprecedented. And I'm talking literal today. Like today's date, like there's a lot of shit that happened today. Like CNN was in the background when I came in, talking on the news and getting stormed up.
That's true.
I know, right? Have you heard anything since we've been down here, or you've been focused on?
I've been trying to listen to you.
Yeah, don't try to do both. Like, you'll get yourself. I talk fast, and so does that. So yeah, that's another reason why we record everything. So I usually tell my people when we get down here, like, just choose one. I'm sorry I didn't do that for you tonight.
Oh no, you did earlier, so I've been down with it all.
Fair enough. All right, let's go see what we can get out of this cemetery. It's a weird spot. Let's do it. Sean, you can continue recording if you want, or you can stop it. Up to you. Until we get around the corner.